Thank everybody that came out. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day again. I know I said it, but just thank you. I'm going to slow it down because I don't want to preach at you, because I want you to get this message as we go into 2024. And I know that I can preach with power, but wisdom is silent. So I'm going to bring it down, and if God takes over and He brings it out, He brings it out. So as we embark on 2025, we know that we have New Year's resolutions of new year, new me, right? But if we don't put the homework in, it's not New Year, new me. It's New Year, same old me, same old lessons, same old curses, the same. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. We're going to go into a new year with the same habits, wondering why we don't have those results. So when I was talking to God about, because it took me a good minute to do this word itself, because I was like, God, I mean, we can go and say Exodus. We can go and say, this is my new Exodus. I'm walking through the Red Sea. And I said, God, where do you want me to be? Because every year you have resolutions. And I don't want to just have a resolution. So He said this to me. He says, declare a thing, and it will be so. We're walking into 2025 declaring a thing. But how do we declare a thing? We can say something with our mouth. We can say, you know, I'm going to be the lender and not the borrower. I'm going to be the head and not the tail. But if we don't believe that thing, it's just nothing. It's just an empty promise that we said out there. And God might catch it, and He might let it go. It all depends on us. God is the example of saying something. He is the example of declaring and decreeing a thing. Life and death is truly in the tongue. Be careful what you say to someone, because what we think are curse words are not. Some of us have been cursed since birth. You're just like your mama. You're just like your daddy. Don't you see them acting like such and such? People have been speaking negative connotations over your life for a very long time. But what does God say about you? It's all about what God says, not about what people say. Because people are going to be people. The devil can use anybody and any empty vessel. Let me clarify that. So if it's an empty vessel, it's going to be used. God says that He breathed His breath in our lungs. Because we look like our Father. So when we ask why are we under attack, it's because we look like our Father. It's crazy. You look just like your daddy. And the devil cannot stand you. So when I talked to Him, He took me back to the beginning. And we're getting ready to enter into the beginning. So why not start the beginning of the year with the beginning of the Word? Because that's what it was. The world was empty, but there was God. I want to go to Genesis 1. And you might be like, girl, you going to Genesis 1? Yes. Because I'm going to tell you a love story of a father and his children. In Genesis 1, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the faces of the waters. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. What did He just say? What did He do? There we go. He spoke to the earth, and He commanded it, and it had to be so. So when we go to speaking in 2025, we need to speak and decree a thing, because it will be so. God saw that the light was good. When God said, let there be, there was a command that the light had to obey. Did you know the light had to obey God? Even the light. The light went, God said, yeah, okay, I see you, light. It was dark, but now here's the light. How many of you guys have dark situations in your life that has happened? And you're like, I don't know when I'm going to get out of this. God does. He knows when you get sick and tired, like my mom used to say, when you get sick and tired, and you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, then if you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you're going to do something. Yes. And you're going to get angry enough to declare something and break something. God is waiting on you to break something. You got to break it. But you have to speak to that thing. Let there be. That's where we're going today. So, I got a lot of Bible, y'all, so rock with me. So, God said, dare to dream again. Pick that dream back up and give it to God. Before we begin, does anybody have a dream? Does anybody? Okay. Now, let me simply define dream for you. It's unconscious desires and wishes, a vision of the night. So I want to go to Job 33, verses 14 through 16. I can wait for you guys to get there. So it says, for God may speak in one way or another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream and a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering on their beds, then he opens up the ears of men and seals it with instruction. Your dreams aren't just dreams. Your visions aren't just visions. It's instruction by God. Don't let that little dream, hey, that was a crazy dream. No, it was an instruction by God. It might seem a little wonky. Write that thing down. Because in a little while it's going to make sense. It all makes sense in the end with God. He says some men don't perceive it. You brush it off. Because you're like, oh, that was just a weird dream. Think it not strange. God will even use your dreams. You ride and you see something in the back of your head. A vision. God has many ways to reach his children. We just have to be available. And if we make ourselves available, God can come in and use us. He says many do not perceive it. Don't be one of the many that do not perceive the dreams and the visions that God is giving you. Just like Elijah on the mountain, the fire came and all these things. But God was in the small, still voice. We look for a major event, and it's just a whisper. Abraham. Moses. It's just something simple. It's so simple that you'll miss it if you don't have ears to perceive it. Open up your ears. The word that stands out to me is seal. And he seals it with instruction, right? And when God gave you the word seal, you think about back in the day with the king and the signet rings, and they had the seal and they put it on the envelope and they sent it out. But then God gave me the word seals, like the seals at the end of times. And then the 144,000. So when I talked to him about the 144,000 in Revelation 14, I'm going to read that as well. God was like, in 2025, I'm choosing my 144,000. Are you going to be a part of it? Many want to be chosen. Many believe they're chosen. But what does God say? My Bible, right? Be what it's studied. Hold on, y'all. Revelations 14, 1 through 5. Then I looked, Then I looked, and behold, a lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists and their harps. They sang as if it was a new song before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders, and no one could learn that song except for the 144,000 who were redeemed from earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they were without fault before the throne of God. So I was like, okay, God, so in 2025, you're going to call up your chosen. You're choosing your 144,000. That you have the seal. That the seal consists of the names of God and the Lamb. And it shows that the redeemed belong to God. And he said, let the redeemed say so. He says, I am claiming my children. You're not going to look regular. You're not going to sound regular. When you walk into rooms, they're going to know that God is with you. The light of God is shining upon you for all to see. And even if you wanted to be regular, you can't. He has marked you. He has chosen you. For some of you, 2025 is going to be the year of redemption and revelation. Because he's going to reveal to you who you are. Forget about what the world says. Because you want to be chosen by God and not man. Man going to choose wrong every time. They skipped over Joseph when he was in the field. Man didn't see Joseph. But God did. Because before he even sent Samuel to find David, he says, I'm going to choose him. Samuel chose wrong all 7 times. But God got it right the first time. So, with everyone going into 2025, God is getting it right the first time. He's choosing you. I don't care who did not choose you. I don't care who talked about you. I don't care who lied on you. God will choose you over and over and over again. In the presence of everyone who says that you're not redeemable, that you're not worthy. Why him? Why her? Why not? Because the oil can only pour for who God says is worthy. That's it. That's it. So, when I get to it, right, I was saying, okay, God, so here we are in Genesis. You're saying we're going to speak a thing. We're going to say, let there be. That's the theme for the year. He says, all year long, I don't care what you're doing, driving down the road, you want that promotion, whatever. He said, put let there be in front of it, and it shall be so. So, God begins to break it down for me, right? He gave me destination because some people are moving to different destinations in this lifetime. I see cities and states, and even some people just countries just packing up and just dipping. It don't fit you no more. The city don't fit you no more. The state don't fit you no more. You're not your hometown person anymore. So God said, I'm picking you up, right? So then God says this. He said, did you know that you're my dream? And I was like, we are dreaming. He said, did you read Genesis? I said, yeah, I read Genesis. You said, let there be. It was big. Like, okay, God, you commanded me. You did your big one. He says, I was hovering over the earth and it was dark. It had to be filled. I filled it with my dreams. And I spoke into that world and I filled it with my dreams. He says, I put my breath in your body. So every time you inhale, it's me. And every time you exhale, it's me. I loved you so much. I dreamt about you. I had to put you in here and get you from the deep of the earth and formulate you and breathe. He says, I had many animals. I had many beasts of the field. You don't hear me breathing into their lungs. But you, I prayed for you. I waited for you. I dreamt about you. I created you. You're my image. All of Genesis, I made you in my likeness. Women, I took you, I did a deep sleep on your husband, and I got that rib, and I put it inside of you, and he that finds a wife finds a good thing. Everything that I did was my dream for you. That's why husbands should keep their family and create their own. Because I created you on my own. Wisdom was with me in the deep, but you are my dream. You're special. That's why nobody has the same DNA. Nobody has the same fingerprints. Because I had different dreams about each and every one of my children. We all have different walks of life. Because we are hand-tailored by God. And we're his dream in living formation. That's why he will leave the 99 to go get that one. Because that one lost is a dream deferred. And he ain't gonna lose one. He'll go get you and celebrate when you come back to the kingdom. It don't matter if you're on an overdose. It don't matter if you're in poverty. It don't matter if you're homeless. That's why God does a lot with a little. That's why God takes a nobody and turns it into a somebody and put it into somebody's faces. Because they were talking about his dream. And he can't lie. And John, we know John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten Son to die for us. But do we know why he loved us? Because we were his creation. Not only his creation, but we were a part of him. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, breathing in and out. He says, I had to send my Son to redeem you because I'm not going to lose my dream. So it don't matter how far we are, he pulls us right back in. And he loves us back to life. And even when we try to end our life prematurely, we don't even have authority over that. That's why we're still here. Depression has the power when God steps in it. Sickness has the power when God steps in it. It all has the power. Because there was something distorting God's image and what he created. And all of a sudden, it's like God has asthma because he can't breathe right because y'all ain't sleeping right. And God says, I am concerned with what's concerning you. I will contend with what's contending against you. That's why God will go to war with the devil. One, because the devil is a keyless key. He don't have the keys. Jesus went down after he died on the cross, and he went down to Hades and he took the keys back. In my head, that's why I laugh when it says the devil walks to and fro, seeking who he may devour. Because he ain't got the keys, so he can go. Go and come if you please. He can't lock his door. But we can walk up in there. We can go up in there like Jesus and say, hey, yeah, nah, you ain't. This ain't you. It's time for you to come up out that bando. It's time for you to come up out there. Because that's not how God designed us. He didn't design us to be lesser. That's not us. We're not supposed to be in Hades. We're not supposed to be down there. But since the door is unlocked, we can go give our brothers and sisters a hand and say, no, I see you crashing out. Let me tell you who you're supposed to be. Let me tell you who God is and who God says you are. Every breath that you take belongs to God. So you might not feel like you got a home and you're homeless, but God says everything on this earth is yours because you have dominion. Even if you sleep in your car, you got dominion over everything. You got to know who you are. And trouble don't last always. It lasts as long as we allow it to happen. Because can't nothing happen to us unless we allow it to. Even when people are speaking negatively to us and we accept it, that's because we allowed it to seep into us. Surround yourself with people that will pray with you, not pray against you. And if you ain't got them, you and God. You and God. It might be lonely, but it's better than sitting in a den of thieves and snake pits. You got to know who you are and whose you are. You belong to God. God alone. One of my favorite books in the Bible is Genesis, which you know, which is a love story for me. Every time I read Genesis, it just opens up my eyes when God told Abraham, he's like, go. Then he tell him, well, just go. to a land that I will show you. Hi, God. Well, okay. He says, leave everything. But he took a lot. He's like, leave everything and just come with me. Where, God? What? I'm not the finances. He didn't even question God. He was like, all right, so we out here. All right, so we out here, we're doing the thing. But it's that crazy faith that opens up the doors. If you build it, they will come. If you build it. If you dream it, it will come to life. When you wake up and you have that faith to say, that was for me. I know God can give me prophecies for everybody else in the nation, but this one is for me. This is for me. I receive that. I believe that. And it is so. Be crazy enough to believe that God is going to do the crazy thing for you. Go. All right, go. All right. Go where? All right. Let me get in the airport. Let me just stand here for a second. Maybe you'll tell me which destination. I don't know. Wherever you take us, God. But I'm a living witness that if you get crazy with God and you get radical for God, the sky is the limit. We're sitting in a dream. One day I was dreaming, thought I was crazy, pulled on the side of the road, hadn't been late because I heard something that arrested me and I couldn't breathe, I couldn't even drive. I was on the side of the highway like, Project Baby. Wait, God, you got the wrong one. I know you got the wrong one. He said, no, I got the right one. I got the right one. And through you is going to feed my nations. Through you. Okay, God. All right, he says, now start a thing. And it is so. Build it and it will come. I will make you fishers of men. If you get one fish, you got enough. You see what I did with the fish. You see what I did with the loaves. You see what I did with the little. All I need is a little bit of faith from you. Just a little bit. And I'll do the rest. Give me the faith. Your life will never be the same when you bank on God. As Abraham began to go, he began to grow. He went from Abram to Abraham because with God is never the same. Even your name begins to change. Even your name. God will change everything. He told Abraham that he was going to be the father to nations. You know the son, Father Abraham. Many sons is Father Abraham. I am one of them, so are you. Like, let's just praise the Lord. Like, it was just a childhood name. But even now, we talk about Abraham being the father of many nations, which made Sarah the mother of many nations, barren Sarah. There's a lot of barrenness in the Bible. One that I love is Hannah. And when God gave me the word about Hannah, I saw myself in this mega arena, screaming this word out on my hands and knees, telling women to push that baby out. Push it out. But it isn't just for women. Because a birthing process takes two. God is saying that dream, it has to come into full fruition. And you gotta birth that baby out. Scared and alone. You gotta birth that baby out. hospital room, in the birthing place, it's only a couple people that can come in because it's very critical. Life comes out of that, and so does death if it's not done properly. Surround yourself with people that are going to speak life over you and not death. Because not everybody wants to see you birth that baby out. Not everybody wants to see you. And the hardest thing, one lesson that I'm learning in life is that not everybody wants to see you happy.
Hi, ladies. Hi. Stay strong. Courageous. Lead your family. Love your husband. Love God. Love both. Watch what God does. So you guys out here. Unity. Push them all out. Y'all together. Strong. He knows. He knows.
God is bringing unity back, and He's bringing back the head and not the tail. Sometimes we wander and we're lost, and then we find our way back. But we're never lost when it comes to God. He always knows where to find us because we're His dream. And He knows exactly where He left us. And He knows exactly who brought us. That's why He says, I will bless those who bless you. And I will curse those who curse you.
God bless you. Jesus' name. By God. Amen.
There is so much power when we sit with God and believe in Him. Let there be is going to be your word. I want you to sit with that word. I want you to write that word. I want you to marinate on that word. Because when you're walking into buildings and they tell you that you don't belong here, I want you to turn the situation around and say, nah, let there be this building. It's mine. You know, God, I don't even want this building, but let there be. Let there be. See, since they think that I'm not qualified, and I might not be to man, but who's going to qualify me? Nobody. You're not what they say. I had to learn that because I've been called a lot of names in this lifetime. I've been beaten, I've been raped, I've been molested, I've been left for dead, I've been homeless, I've been a lot of things. But I haven't been dead because my story is still being written every single day. There's a woman, there's a man that needs me to get up and minister. It's bigger than me. And it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. God had me write this. It says, fumbling around in the dark, you never know what you will find. Life is full of unexpected turns. How can one dream if you never knew that dreams exist? How many people don't even know how to dream? Even if you wanted to, it's even hard to believe that you're worthy. Because life has dealt you a bad hand. Maybe you internalize people's bad treatment of you as if you're not worthy of the goodness that God has in store for you. But they were intimidated by the light that you carry. And see, you didn't know that you carried light. So you listened to what they said as they demeaned you and demoralized you and all these things. You didn't know that you were a light. And how can you know your light in a place that's dark? And all you know is abuse. All you know is neglect. All you know is survival. Men can't cry. Man up. What you crying for? Wipe your face. Get your tears. Go build something. Yeah. What you loving your wife for? Don't you see all these women out here? What you is? You don't know who you is? Come party with us. They're ready to rip you away because they know who you are. But you don't. And if they can get you out of the light, then you're with them. You never knew that you were a light. And it's the reason why you've been fighting your whole life. You don't see hell fighting with hell. You don't see Satan out there like, bust a move. No. You see all the devils in the club together. You see all the devils in the dope house together. You see everybody doing the things that are alike. But when it comes to God, you're going to have opposition. Because how dare you think that you're better? And it's not that you think you're better. It's that you're waking up to who you are. Let there be light. Let there be light on who you are. No more fumbling in the dark. No more taking lesser jobs just because you got to pay a bill. When your father is Jireh, Jehovah Jireh, that means that God is your provider. So you're taking jobs in fear of God not being who He is. And if God is not who He is, then that means God is a lie, which is something that He cannot be. So what are you struggling for? If God is your provider, He will provide for you a job that is lucrative for you. But if you're so busy not knowing who you are that you're taking anything because you are afraid of being homeless. You are afraid of being in poverty. You're afraid of an eviction. Let it be. I've been evicted anyway. Okay. And I'm still here. In fact, I own a house now. Because they said I had 30 days to get out. And God said, I'm going to get you a house in 30 days. Let them do it. Let them put the notice on there. And they're going to notice that I called you. Let them. That's it. Because if I am your provider, I provide all of your needs. Don't be afraid. That's the problem. We're living scared. We're scared that we're going to lose the marriage. So we're lying and we're hiding and we're manipulating instead of owning our bad behaviors and going to the man or woman to woman and saying, I messed up. I understand if you leave me. I understand if you don't forgive me. But I can't sit in your face and lie. Let it happen. Let it just fall where it may. But I'm not going to go back on my word and degrade myself and lie. Only thing that can happen is they can stay or they can go. And if people walk out their life, let them walk. It's okay. They messed up before in life too. We all are going to mess up. Somewhere in life you've been dropped, like a dream deferred, never knowing anything else but survival. I have excitement. Life is about to change and change rapidly. So, for all of the trouble that you faced, God is about to give you a double dose of favor. And what is favor? Like, okay, God's going to give me favor, like somebody's going to do me a favor. Like, no. God is not a respecter of person. So the favor that God gives you, man can't give you. You're going to be homeless, and you might be sitting in a 5-bedroom mansion. Who knows? You might be a janitor at a place, and you might be a CEO the next day. The favor that God can do will put you before great men and have you ruling over the great men. You're not supposed to beg for nothing. God says, I've never seen that. That's something, He says, I have never seen that. Not if you're mine. What are you begging for? Can I borrow $20? God says, I can make it rain. What are you asking for droplets for? What are you asking for $20 for? You mean 20 million? Like, what are you asking me for 20? God said, they must don't know who I am. Because if they did, they wouldn't be asking for crumbs. But even the dogs eat the crumbs from the table. It is written. You combat the devil with the word. You combat fear with the word. You combat survival with the word. It is all written. I'm really big on not telling you something I don't know. Because I used to have to ask for $20. I used to have to ask for a car ride. I had family that passed me on the street with my kids in the rain because they didn't want to stop because they saw me as a burden. But God said, I'm going to run it back. I'm going to run it back. I've been following God and I ain't lacking nothing. I said, God, you got my yes? Okay, all right. And I'm just going to tell y'all how I was just talking to God because I was like lost. I was like, God, okay. Okay, you said I got $3 left and put in the gas tank. He was laughing. When I got to the gas station, somebody was there and they put their gas pump in my gas tank while I went in to pay and they filled my tank up by the time I came back out. And I stood there. And it was like, he was like, didn't I tell you I'm your provider? I said, okay, God, all right, okay. We ain't got no food. Somebody knocked at the door. Hey, the neighborhood's giving food away. We just bought some food to your door. Okay, God, okay. Kids need shoes. One of the co-workers was like, I got shoes. I was like, can I just bring your kids some shoes? They're the same size as me. Okay, God, I ain't even asking at this point. I'm just thinking like what I need. Like this is in my head at this point. He says, I'm going to provide all of your needs. I knew your need before it began. I knew the problem before it began. When I say I'm going to provide it, that is what I'm going to do. I don't need no input from you. All I need you to do is keep the faith. Keep it. I understand bills, like you trust me. I understand they're going to keep calling. That's what they're going to do. The devil going to make sure he get his little 10%. He's going to make sure he get his off the top. Give the devil what's his. Give Caesar what's Caesar's. Give God what's God's. But you watch what he do. You watch how God comes in your life. God says, are you ready for change? I am. I don't even think that that's a valid question because when God asks me, am I ready for change, it ain't really no ask. It's him letting me know that he's about to come turn my life every way but loose. When I say, God, come in and you turn it every way but loose, and I be holding on, but when I get to the end of a thing, I see the light. I see when I was fumbling and I was thinking that I had to hold on to something, that it actually had no value. I see that the dollar actually lost its value a long time ago. And although we're in a recession or depression, I'm really trying to say whatever, God is never in lack or less than. God always has more than enough. And although it's dark and desolate in seasons in our lives, we have to remember that the wilderness has a time. But it's what we make it. There's no need to be in the wilderness for 40 years or 400 years. There's no need to be in there that long. He only took them that way so he could make sure he drowned out the enemies. We was only supposed to be there for a certain time. But it's how we're waiting. How are we waiting in the dark? Are you saying, oh gosh, man, God, you ain't never doing that. So I'm always broke. I'm going through this again. Like, oh my gosh, when is the season going to be over? You know, I get the job, they're talking about me, and make the status about me, your family's talking about me. And he's like, you don't get it. You don't get it. What is it going to take you to get it? Stay there another 40 years in. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. The one thing I learned is, in the wilderness, God still feeds you. It's not punishment. You're not supposed to be there that long, but you stay there. But God is going to make sure He provides the manna, a little sweet treat while you're in there to let you know what's to come. And when you're tired of eating manna, they wanted some pigeons. They want some meat. God provided that. And when they're tired of God spoon feeding them, they walk into their land of broken honey. And they can eat of the promised land. If you're ready to eat from the promised land, change your mindset. You're not supposed to beg. You're not supposed to borrow. You're not supposed to be in the wilderness crying and grumbling. You're supposed to be in there like a badger on like, I ain't got so I'm here. What you want me to do? You want me to cut grass? You want me to plant some plants over here? Like, what do you want me to do in this wilderness season? Do you want me to go make some fishes again? Like, what do you want me to do in this season? What is the lesson of me being in this wilderness? Or am I supposed to birth that baby out, like in Revelation 12? Did you put me here for protection? Because the devil is after my baby. And what is my baby? The birthing of the nation. The birthing of the fish. Who knows? Cast your net to the other side. You might catch the biggest fish of a lifetime. But you never know until you try. Get out of this wilderness. Come out of 2024. I call 2024 the wilderness season. For myself. Because I was like, I don't know what's going on, God. I didn't know. God. I was sitting with God this season like, boy, you got to come do some things. And once I got on my hands and knees, literally, I was at work, September 23rd. I'll never forget this day. I was on my hands and knees at work. I was helping customers. I was running back to the bathroom. Everyone's asking what I'm going to the bathroom. I was on my hands and knees and I was crying in the bathroom. I was dwelling like Hannah. And I was like, God, I got to birth something out. I was like, God, you got to help me. I'm feeding those children, but I'm dying on the inside. I'm drowning in plain sight. God, you got to help me. Because I can't tell my problems to anybody. Because I'm a pastor on a pulpit, and I'm drowning in plain sight, and nobody sees it. And the only way out is death. And I don't know who I am anymore. God, you got to come in and help me. That night, God did it. He turned it around, and I'm still wondering what just happened. God, you're so good. This has been one of the darkest seasons of my life, and God spoke to me in my dream, and He says, don't you know that you're my light? Don't you know you just have to declare a thing? Don't you know you have to tell that devil that he's under your feet? That I created you to be something more, that you are something more. That's why the attacks on your life seem like it's overtaking you. But you won't drown. I will show you how to walk on water. I will show you how to high step over the seas. Because even the seas have to obey you. The miracles didn't just stop happening in the Bible. They're here and they're now. We have to believe. This year has taught me that let there be is a true statement that is commanding God to do something in your life, that the darkness can't stay, that the demons have to tremble. And when we say let there be, there's a creation that is happening. God did his most beautiful creation when he said simply, let there be. God saw that it was good. God is saying that he had creative power and that we have creative power. When God declared let there be, it was him using his creative power to take absolute control of the empty and desolate earth. It was void. It was without form. And it was the words that God said that created what we're living in now. The creepy crawlers, the cattle, the trees, because they have to obey the wind, the moon, the separation of the waters. There's a reason why the waters can't come on land unless God allows it. And it has to recede back into the sea, because the sea can't stay on the earth like that. Everything in life has a purpose that God spoke in Genesis. You are a spoken prayer. You are a spoken word. You are a spoken life. He was the example of what we can truly do when we declare a thing and speak to a thing. So the reason why they say you have faith as the size of a mustard seed, that you can say to this mountain, move. And it is so. We have the power. We have to utilize it. Don't let your words just go everywhere. Don't sit with gossip and people that gossip and talk about people, because your words are powerful. You don't got to give your conversation to everybody. Your time is precious, but your words are valuable. Not everybody deserves a conversation from you. Choose who you're going to talk to in Texas, in calls, in works, and just wherever. People going to say you changed. No, you know the validation of your words. You know the value of your words. And you're not just going to talk it and waste it on people that can't receive it. When you go to speak to people, make it have substance. So the reason I'm sitting on lives for hours, because it has value. My time is valuable. My words carry weight. And I'm not just going to use it on anything and anybody. In the beginning, a father's love story. The word let stands out to me because it simply means to allow, implying that there should be no obstacle. So just the word let and let there be, the word let says that no obstacle should be in the way. When we say let, that means you're going to let me through. You're going to let me walk into my blessing. I'm not asking you. God can say, hey, Earth, you want to have some life? You want to grow some flowers? God says, let there be light. And God saw that it was good. He commanded it. He said, there will be no more darkness. Because when I say let, I'm not allowing it to pass. Let there be light. I looked at it. Yeah, that's good. That looks about right. That looks about right. Because he knew that no obstacle was going to defy what he said. So when we say let, you're going to let me pass. You're going to let me walk into this marriage. You're going to let me open this business. You're going to let me write this book. You're going to let me birth this baby. You're going to let me. Because you don't have no power or authority over me anyway. God has the final say. There's so many letters. I just really want you guys to go home and study all of Genesis 1, because I just sit with it and I just say, God, you were so powerful. You were so magnificent. You just showed your full authority. You commanded something that was dark You commanded something that was desolate. And you ain't even waver with it. You said, yeah, I'm hovering. It says God was hovering. That means God was just looking like, Earth? I see Jupiter, I see Mars, I see Pluto. Now Earth, it looks fruitful. Earth looks about right. Yeah. Let there be light. In your dark situations, don't just hover over it. You speak to those dark situations. You command those dark situations. It has to obey you. Let there be as God commanding the light to come into the darkness and shine. I don't know who needs God to come into their dark situation and be the light, but God is commanding the light to obey Him concerning you. Because even the light has to obey. Trouble don't last always. No. Even when it seems like it. Because to me, trouble is poking at you. It's like, don't you see me? Don't you see me? Here's the bills. Here's the friends that ain't no good. Here's the alcohol. Here's the drugs. Here's the women. Here's the men. Here it is. It's poking. God says, I'm shining light on you today. I'm shining light on you. It can no longer dwell in the deep. I'm calling it to the light. And the light overpowers the darkness. That's the reason why sun overpowers the moon. It says the greater light and the lesser light. He says, I call the greater light day and the lesser light night. Light and darkness can't dwell in the same. That's why when even the sun is out, you see the faint moon because it has to back when the sun comes out. Because the sun is always going to shine. And it ain't going to let no moon tell it when to go down. That's the reason why you know when a real star is in the building versus someone that's going to be in bed. Night and day can't coexist. They can always coexist. The moon got to go back. We just see, like, oh, look at the moon up there every day, like, oh, look at it. But look at the sun blinding us. We can look directly at that moon and it won't hurt our eyes. Try looking at that light. Try looking at that sun. You better put some shades on. You better put some shades on. Because the sun's power ain't going to go down because you're looking at it. In fact, it's going to enhance itself. You need some shades, you need some polarized shades, and you still can't see the sun in its full power because you'll go blind. That's what God is about to do to some of your enemies. They're going to be looking at you like, I can't even see when I'm looking at them. Because God said, let them be. And now you can't hide. Not even if you wanted to. Just like Moses when he came off the mountain. They had to cover their faces. Because they couldn't take the light that God put on him. Ready or not? Here you come. Ready or not? God's purpose will be fulfilled. Isaiah 46:10 is where God had me at, and he gave this to me last minute too. He says, I will make known the end from the beginning, from ancient times, what is still to come. I say, my purpose will stand, and I will do all that I please. You don't need permission. I've never recalled God ever asking for anybody's permission. Ever. Even when they was trying to play Jesus in his face, walked up to him, did he do that? She was like, anyway, man should not live by life. It's like, who are you talking to? Who? You must don't know who I am. Why your disciples not washing their hands? Don't they know he's like, who you talking to? You cannot be talking to me. Y'all over there read y'all long scrolls, thinking y'all know who I am when I'm standing right here. You blind. And you will stay that way until I say let there be light. Jesus' way, in my head, of saying let there be light for the Pharisees to see was when he got pierced. Because they said that he wasn't living well. Well, I beg to differ. Because as they marched him down there, with him doing all those things, he got nailed to that cross. And they put King of the Jews above him as if it was an insult. But it was actuality. Because he was King of the Jews. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I guess I was supposed to be. All right. They put him on that cross and they nailed him. But before he let them know, you don't take my life, I lay it down. And if I wanted to, I could pick it up. But I got to fulfill the purpose. They pierced his side and they saw that, dang, he was the living well. Jesus said, and I said, let there be. He was like, it took me to die for y'all to see the light. Don't worry, I'm coming back for y'all. Yeah. He said, I'm not going to miss one. I'm not going to miss one. The earth shook and the dead came alive and was walking on earth, because that's how much power he came. That even the dead bodies in the ground had to rise up and understand that Jesus is Lord. Even the dead had to come out of the graves and worship. God's will for your life will come to pass. God is coming. And he's coming for your life. And it will never be the same. Because he plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Let there be success in your life. Let there be peace in your life. Let there be abundance in your life. Let there be, let there be, let there be. Because God is saying, you know what the let there be has to be in your life. I can say peace because if you've ever been without it, you understand how golden it is. Peace is the one thing that is priceless. You'll be a madman if you don't got it. And you'll fight for the rest of your life trying to get it back. And you'll cut everybody off when you realize that they're disturbing your peace. That's the one most valuable thing ever. I've learned this. And I will never lose my peace again. God is commanding you to go into 2025, declaring a thing. And all throughout 2025, commanding the earth to obey you, to yield its fruits, to pay you what it owes you. If anybody bless you, bless them right back. If anybody curse you, shake the dust off your feet. And allow God to be God. Because he gets vindication. He gets vengeance. Even though you might be slick with your tongue, God is slippery. And God will make them run it back and see you at the head of the table. He says, the way I get them back is I promote you. And I have them work for you. I have their name show up on the job application site. You're going to be like, I know that, but vengeance is the Lord's. Tired of people. You might be just what they need to turn to God. God wants to meet you where you are. I'm not going to do a call of repentance. I'm going to say, you meet God tonight. And if you don't know who he is, you ask him to come into your life and have a visitation with you. Let him come in your dreams and in your vision. Let him come. Don't be afraid. Embrace him. He's about to do something you ain't never seen. If you got faith, stand on it. And if you got a little bit of faith, stand on it. Even the dogs with the crumbs under the table. If you got to crawl and hold on to the hem of his garment, hold on to it. They got to pull you out there and say you were an adulterer, let them. Because God said, I will draw a line in the sand while they're trying to accuse you of everything that they're guilty of. So when somebody comes say you did something, say, okay, cool. You're not my judge, though. And I hope that your eye is clean. I hope that you ain't got no skeletons in your closet, because my God will bust them right open. He gon', I mean, you can expose me. You can make mistakes. You can make it correct. But I hope that you're ready for your life to be exposed. We're living in a world now where we can pick up a camera and expose anybody and sip tea. God says, I hope they're ready to get some tea sipped on them too. And it's going to be deeper and darker. You ain't going to miss. I want to pray over your 2025 before we leave. I know I'm pulling out. I'm going to get there. God, 2025 is about to approach us. And I know we're about to do a countdown and, have all these declarations, but I want to put you at the head of the table because that's where you belong. The head of our house, the head of everything, our marriage, our friendship, whatever, God, you're the head. And as we walk into 2025, we walk in it with you. We stand firm with you. We honor you. You are the beginning and you are the end. You are the Alpha and the Omega. Without you, there is nothing. We don't want you to just hover over our lives. We invite you into our lives. No, we give you our lives. It's more than an invitation because you're worth more than that. Trials may come, but they have to pass because you're here, God. And as I say these words, let there be, God. Let you stand in agreement with it, God. Because we got some things we got to break off. We went through some things in 2024 that we're never going to go through again. We're closing the door to all of the lack, all of the bondage, all of the depression, all of the oppression. We're closing the door to those things. Never will they be open again. As you did with Noah when the flood came, you closed the door yourself because Noah couldn't do it. So God, as we cannot close doors in our lives, I ask that you be the God and that you close the door. And everybody that is not for us, that you get them out of our lives right now. And that you send an army of people that are for us. Because there are more for us than against us. You know what you have for us. You know the path you have for us. May we become in alignment with you, God. May we lack no good thing. You hear our silent prayers. You hear our tears that we can't even cry because we don't even know how to have the tears fall because we're so broken. Pick us up again, God. Piece us back together again, God. As we go into 2025, we go into it knowing that you are for us. We go into it knowing that the monsters under the bed can't hurt us anymore. That the lies can't overtake us anymore. That poverty can't overtake us anymore. That ruin can't overtake us anymore. We go into it not asking 2025 to be our year, but saying, let it be our year. We're not asking anything in 2025. We're declaring a thing. And it will obey. And you will see that it is good, God. That is what you're going to do. You're making us the head and not the tail. Whatever has to go right now. But whatever has to stay, you're going to bless it and multiply it, God. No more dark days. No more crying days unless it's crying tears of joy. We're getting back everything that the enemy stole from us. It says, God, that when the enemy is caught, that it has to repay. We need our payment, God. For everything that was stolen from us. Happiness, joy, peace, financially, mentally, whatever it might be, God, whatever was stolen, we're commanding it to come back. We're not asking for anything in 2025, God, because you are the example of how to command it. We're commanding 2025 to be our year of prosperity. Let it be, God. Let there be light. Let there be, God. As you breathe your breath in our lungs, as we inhale and exhale, God, let there be, God. Let there be. God, we so desperately need you to say, let there be. In every aspect in our lives, in every area of our lives, let there be. Let there be happiness. Let there be peace. Let there be joy. Let there be abundance. Let there be. I told us in 2025, God, because this is about to be a year that only you know. Go before us, stand beside us, and behind us. Let there be. It has to be, God. It has to be. In Jesus' mighty name I pray, amen. God is dream. Believe it. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. Don't let it go. And don't let negative Nancy's talk you out.